This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
Good evening and welcome. This is the DRC Learning Net. Welcome back. My name is Daron. DORON, Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. My name, call sign Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. I am Net Control. This is a casual conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined expertise and experience. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Just had a correction here. The 145.490 has a negative 600 kilohertz offset, but the 448.625 has a negative 5 megahertz offset, meaning you would transmit on 144.890 or 448.025, respectively. Let me break. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? Yeah, it is an old AWRL film. Music was copyright though, so I had to change that on that. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo. AA0JK, good evening.
Alpha Echo 0, Golf, Quebec. AE0GQ, Tom. And I do have a little traffic when you have time at the end of a follow-up from last week's transmission stub filtering question.
All right, sounds good. We had AA0JK Fred and AE0GQ Tom. Thank you both for checking in as Elmers. And Tom, yeah, we'll come back to you here in just a bit with a follow-up from last week. All right, all other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the first letter after the number in your call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics as you check in, and also indicate if you have traffic or questions as you do. If your suffix begins with letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Whiskey 0 Bravo Kilo Sierra. Barb in Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Lima Alpha India, KZRE, Larry in Lakewood.
Good evening, Duran. Tom, Kilo 6, Hotel Joliet Victor, K6HJV, Arvada, no traffic.
November 1, Golf Uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton with traffic.
KF0, AFQ, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy and Denver, no traffic.
WD0CIV, WD0CIV, Charles and Denver, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin Lakewood, no traffic.
W0TX Repeater.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Whiskey Charlie, Brian Applewood, no traffic.
Sounds good, Alex. I got you checked in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. Net Control acknowledges and welcomes the following check-ins. W0BKS Barb, K0LAI Larry, K6HJV Tom, N1GUM Peter with traffic, KF0AFQ Troy, WD0CIV Charles, K0KPS Kevin, KF0WC Brian, and online we had Alex, KS0E. Thanks for everyone for checking in. I did miss a portion of the script earlier. If you want to, you're more than welcome to check in online as well on YouTube. If you search for W0TX or K1DBC on YouTube, you're more than welcome to check in online there. If you're not within the Denver metro area and or just can't get to the to your radio or not licensed. With that though, further check-ins to the net. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, once more, please check in now. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. We're going to open up the whole alphabet. If your call suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please check in now with your call sign, name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions.
KD0 RQN, Octavo Delta 0 Romeo Quebec November, David from Westminster, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0, Tango, Romeo, Papa, Jim in Lakewood, good evening.
All right, Net Control would like to welcome knowledge of the following check-ins. KD0 RQN David, KE0 SUM Jonathan, and N0TRP Jim. Thanks all for checking in. Once more, we're taking all calls Alpha through Zulu. Please let us know if you have any traffic or questions, and let us know name. Please call now.
Evans in Lakewood, KF0 FPI.
All right, and that time we had Evans, KF0, FPI, Frank Papa India. Thanks for checking in. One more time at the moment, we're taking all call suffixes just for the count, or if you have any traffic questions for the net, please call now. All right, I'll take further check-ins throughout the net at official points a couple times, but don't hesitate if there's a lull in the conversation to chime in if you want to just check in, if you have any traffic or questions, or just want to check in and say hello. I guess with that though, I guess just numerical order, A0GQ Tom, if you want to go ahead and have any follow-up on last week on filtering, go ahead.
Deron, why don't you go ahead and take Peters and any other traffic that might be out there, and I can tag along at the end. A0GQ back to net.
Hey, no problem. That sounds good, A0GQ. Okay, Peter, N1GUM. Peter, with traffic. Go ahead. The net is yours.
Thank you, Deron, and good evening to the group. This is N1GUM. I had a question to this group, and maybe extending it into the club in general. Is anyone working with the microwave bands Does anyone have experience with it or have done it maybe in the past, if not currently anymore? I'd be interested to know and maybe connect with someone who has done this before. So if anyone has some experience with that, I would love to hear from it.
Good question there, Peter N1GUM, asking about usage of microwave fans. We have, there's some interesting operations going on. It's somewhat related to, but somewhat outside of ham radio. I know for our recent field day, Mark N0XRX was using the 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz frequencies to do a microwave link between his home and our field day site. Another group in the area, rmham.org, or Rocky Mountain Ham, they do a lot of microwave links between their repeater sites as well. Let me drop here for a moment. Inside the ham band, it looks like there's the 23 centimeter band, which is 1.2 gigahertz, 1240 megahertz. I don't know, and I know that there's HRPT, which is high resolution picture transmission that's used to receive images from some of the weather satellites provided by some of the state agencies. There's probably some microsats and some CubeSat operations within the gigahertz, but I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody have any experience or knowledge or anything you want to throw out operating the microwave frequencies, which would often be in the gigahertz? Go ahead. All right. Looking on Wikipedia here, range between 1 and 100 gigahertz, ranging from 1 meter to 1 millimeter, corresponding to frequencies between 300 megahertz and 300 gigahertz, respectively. I don't know much about microwave operations. We'll sometimes hear and see these bands, the K bands. There's the KU, KA, and K. There's C bands, S bands. These all refer to different gigahertz regions. I'll throw it back to you though, Peter. If you have any other follow-up on that or anything else, go ahead.
Yeah, that's good information. I took some notes here, and during field day, I did have an opportunity to talk with Mark, and he explained to me what he did with that Wi-Fi link back to the station, and that was interesting. But I was thinking more the 5 or maybe 10 gigahertz bands, and if any of the hams in the Denver metro area are working that. But good points, and I appreciate sharing that information, Duran. So I think that's it for now. Back to Net. This is N1GUM.
LAI.
All right, sounds good there. Yeah, I'm sure I probably repeated a few things that you may have already known. KZRLAI, though. Larry, go ahead.
There is a group that uses microwave to set up mesh networks. They're linked some of the hospitals together, and person doing it's N0KMO Jeremiah, and they've got a interesting setup that goes along the front range, but it's designed to do a mesh networking. It's not for voice, although they they have set it up so they can do a telephone across the mesh telephone, and of course data as well. So, but they're not using it for voice normally. It's all digital type stuff, kind of like a packet network that's automated because it's mesh. That's all I know. I do know Jeremiah personally, but and I bought some equipment to do what they do, but I haven't set it up. This is K0LEI, back to that.
All right, sounds good there, KZRE. Yeah, I don't know if it's related to, it's Arden or the Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network, as well as here locally we also have the CAR BBN, Colorado Amateur Radio Broadband Network. I think that's related to some of this stuff. Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's all kind of data, building a data network, mesh network. Using either ham bands or open bands. But yeah, it's a good way to interconnect repeaters and create just kind of an off-the-grid, non-commercial type, commercial type network, though, that you'd see. So yeah, very, very cool on that. N0KMO. Thank you. All right, good question there. Yeah, Peter, N1GUM. Yeah, another facet of the technology. There was some power line stuff that I remember was in the gigahertz too. I'd have to find, or there was some. Yeah, I'll have to find that. So, I'll throw it out though. Anybody else on the net here have any other comments, questions in regards to the microwave bands or anything else we've spoken about so far? Please go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Thanks everyone for tuning in here. I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else anybody would like to bring up so far for the net? Please call now.
KE0NRE, Jim in Littleton, no traffic.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo, Rich in Arvada, no traffic. Good evening, all.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome knowledge to following check-ins, KE0NRE, Jim, and WD6DOK, Rich. Thank you both for checking in. Guess I'll take this opportunity to officially open it up for check-ins as well. If you've just tuned in, this is Daron, Kilo 1, Delta Bravo Charlie, Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for radio amateurs seeking help, and Elmers giving their time to help us. Everyone is welcome to join in. If there's anyone who wishes to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign, using IT phonetics if you can, your name, and state if you have any traffic or questions for the net. Please call now.
Zero Golf Alpha Golf. Dario here in saying hello.
Let's see if we can replay that. I did not get that. Did not get that. All right, this is K1DBC
Delta Oscar.
Okay, Rich, thank you both for checking. Please do so with your call sign using.
Zero Golf Alpha Golf. Dario here in saying hello.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Sorry, I was trying to go back there and get that call sign. I heard either Zero Golf Alpha Golf or Golf Papa Golf, Dario. Can you call back with your call sign once more? Go ahead.
Yeah,
All right, perfect. I got you that time. Kilo Foxtrot 0 Golf Alpha Golf. Got you checked in. Thanks for checking in. Yeah, glad you're able to make it here on the net. Yeah, feel free to check in anytime over the airwaves if you ever have any questions. Thank you for checking in. All right, this is K1WC Net Control. Yeah, I got confirmation there in the chat here. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, one more time. If anybody wants to check in at the moment, please call now. All right, again, if you'd like to check out, we're streaming on YouTube our nets as well as our meetings. You can go to youtube.com/Whiskey Edward Romeo, Edward Golf, Romeo 8. You can also just search on YouTube for Whiskey 0 Tango X-Ray, W0TX, or my call sign, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie, K1 DBC. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to like anything. You don't have to make any comments. But it's just we're just showing video from what we're bringing up, as well as if you can't check in over the air, you're more than welcome to check in in the chat there as well. So with that, though, one more time, anyone else like to check in? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far? Please call now.
A0GQ. I can go ahead now if you want.
Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
First off, I think we ought to welcome KF0 G Dario, who looks like he just got his license just a few days ago. Congratulations. I won't bite, but Daron does, so watch out. Don't get too close to him. Last week, somebody was talking about using a stub, which was just a piece of cable all coiled up, attached to a T to block out transmissions from somebody else nearby at field day. And I got thinking about that. We talked briefly about it. I got thinking a touch about that. Come on, drop for a moment.
W0TX repeater.
I was pretty sure what he was talking about was using a quarter wave stub, transmission line stub. The interesting about a quarter wave transmission line is if you measure from one side, if you short the other side, what you're measuring looks like an open. If you leave the other side open, where you're measuring looks like a short. So I was thinking that they were using it as a basically a notch filter, a pass stop filter, and that they would run the thing open on the frequency you want to get rid of, because if you did not short the far end, it would look like a short at that frequency, and therefore your signal would be sucked out of that line like nobody's business, the signal you didn't want. So, for the heck of it, I wandered around and grabbed a couple pieces of cable and a T-joint with a spectrum analyzer and set it to sweep from 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. Normalized it so it all looked pretty and flat, and then I grabbed a 20-foot piece of RG58 that I had handy, left it open because it had BNCs on both sides, and didn't have a connector to short a BNC, and by golly, it really did have. There was a dip at 6.5 megahertz. There was also a dip at 19.5, which is the third harmonic, and one at the fifth, and so on. When I measured it, I didn't think it was all that great. It was what I was getting was about 13 dB. But to be honest with you, RG58 is as close. It's as far from low loss coax as you can get, and still say in the same county. Trust me, it's not low loss. It's great for test leads, but that's about all you should ever use it for. And theoretically, and what I understand is that if you have lower loss cable, that it's more effective, that you get a deeper notch. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I then thought, I wonder if the AWRL has something in their books, and sure enough, if you go to Chapter 28 of the antenna book, you will see transmission stubs listed with a complete description. However, they do it differently. I had mine open. They have theirs shorted, and they have it cut with a quarter wave to what you want to go out. So if you were on 20 meters, you would cut it to, say, 14.150 megahertz. Make a quarter wave for that. Turns out that it's really broadband, although it does have attenuation, and I was getting 27, 28 dB with some RG8X. So it works reasonably well with RG8X. That's about 5 S units, by the way. It was, as I say, very broad, but it would wipe out, if you were cutting it for 20 meters, guaranteed it would wipe out 40 and 15 and do a number on 17 and 32. So it would work for that. And you could use it at field day to keep you from getting blown out by the guy next to you on the next band over. They do have a circuit in there that on the handbook that uses both a short and a open stub, and a couple coax relays that is designed for field day, basically. That by switching the relays in different fashions, you can select almost any band you want to pass and to cut the others. So it was kind of an interesting little circuit. I really enjoyed playing with that a little bit. I will tell you that they go through a whole bunch of procedures on a real transmission line, which of course I wasn't using. I was using a spectrum analyzer, where you have to place it at the right position so that it's at a low impedance point. And so they were measuring quarter wave from the transmitter and all sorts of stuff like that. It looked like more trouble than it was worth, to be honest with you. However, there was another workaround for that one too. So I would refer you to the antenna handbook, because it's in there, and it was very interesting. Thank you, Drone. Back to net. K1 DBC 80GQ.
Excellent, A0GQ, Tom. This is K1DBC Drone. Yeah, thank you so much for the follow-up and the testing. And yeah, that sounds like really interesting results. And yeah, that's really cool to hear. Hopefully we can pass that along to the person who had brought that up last week, and we'll make sure that those results are shown. So yeah, thanks for all the testing there, and very, very cool.
Comment NRE.
Yeah, KZRE. Go ahead.
Thanks, Daron, and thank you, Tom. I was the person who brought it up last week, and I guess I was looking for something that would be a little bit higher Q than what the shorted or open circuit stub might be able to do, so that you could have two operators on the same band instead of knocking out adjacent bands and operating that way. Although I'm sure, any kind of improvement to make sure that really close transmitters weren't overloading the front end of your receiver would be a big help. But maybe that's just theoretically impossible with the kinds of tools available to us mere mortals. But I appreciate you doing the homework on that and sharing it with us today. So KE0NRE, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, KE0NRE. This is K1DBC. Yeah, again, thanks again, Tom, for your follow-up there. Yeah, anyone else? Any comments, questions in regards to what was just passed there? Go ahead. All right, sounds good. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, very, very cool information there in the antenna handbook, in the antenna book, I'm sure. 80 years of antenna know-how, so there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of expertise to help you kind of understand what's going on with with these radio signals and how antennas work. So very, very cool. Yeah.
The GQMR comment.
Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
I did look at the possibility of filters with a steep enough roll-off on them that you could be both operating on 20 meters. And it is possible, but at the cost of such, it's probably cheaper to consider assassination of the guy that's on your band sitting next to you. It's probably faster if you do that and a lot more effective. A0GQ.
Comment and RE.
Sounds good there, A0GQ. Yeah, K0NRE, go ahead.
It might just be a little less costly to build a Faraday cage around the fellow next to you so that you can make sure his radiation doesn't get to your antenna. Back to net.
All right, sounds good. There, yeah. Plenty of theoretical options there for you. So, very, very cool. Yeah. Does anyone else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far? Please call now.
AA0JK.
Yeah, A0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I'd like to hear from who set up the communications equipment in the Salvation Army's communication truck. They are using a quarter wave stub on that rig, and it's evidently working out quite well over the years during field day, despite how many stations are all there in that group. I have never heard any bleed over from any of the other stations operating. So that quarter wave stub that's hooked up there to the rig in the communication van is doing a real good job. And I would like to hear from anyone with a little bit more information there, especially whoever it is that set that radio up and put that quarter wave stub in on that radio and antenna feed. So definitely something to try there if we can just get a little bit more information on it. AA0JK.
A0JK, this is K1DBC. Yeah, great information there. You know, I don't think that we use those, unfortunately, at the moment. I think that Orland, WW0LF, has them. He mentioned that someone, previous club member, has made them for us, but we generally operate on completely separate bands using separate transmission lines from, for example, the 20 meter and the 40 meter bands to radios that were operating near each other, but using completely different transmission lines. And I don't think any filters were used. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, the construction of the antenna goes to any of the volunteers, anybody who had come in and done that. And then I believe it was just straight transmission line from the antenna to the radios. But yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong. I know the club does have some, and we need to start investigating on how to use them and deploy them in the future. Because yeah, this is a really cool ability to have, and make sure that we're not stepping over each other and or being able to really finely carve out and hopefully be able to use potentially the same band between two different radios, things like that, if needed. So good question there, Fred.
JK.
I got you checked in, Jay. Yeah, A0JK, go ahead.
Yeah, if you'll look at the amateur radio frequency chart, take note that each one of those bands is a harmonic of the previous and the following bands. Therefore, you are going to be subject to possible bleed over if you don't have some filtering. There you go. If you don't have some filtering there, if you've got stations working in close proximity. So I think that's pretty much why they have the quarter wave stub there on the in-feed there to that transceiver in the Salvation Army van, communications van. So I think it would be very beneficial there for, who was it, Jim, or who called it in there, that if he's having those problems, to investigate and look into possibly putting together one of these quarter wave stubs and putting it in his transmission line. AA0JK.
GQ.
All right, thanks for the follow-up there. I also had a N0SR checking in here online. And we also had Tom, A0GQ. Go ahead.
The quarter wave stubs actually are quite simple to build. Obviously, you need some way of measuring a little better because it's obviously not a real quarter wave. You have to take into account things like velocity factor and that sort of thing. Probably the easiest way that they did it, where you don't have to worry about its placement in the transmission line, is they really used 2 quarter wave stubs, and between them, they put a quarter wave. That's because the high and low impedance points on a transmission line come at a quarter wave apart. So if you manage to hit it really bad on where you spliced in one of the stubs, well, the other one that's a quarter wave away will be exactly opposite, and it just works out. You hit it in the good spot. So that was the easiest and quickest way of handling it. Of course, you have to build it for each band. And yep, you are absolutely right about the harmonics, except for the warts. They aren't. There's a lot of problems there, but we'll ignore those for a moment. But I will tell you that the 20 meter, the 40 meter and the 15 meter are going to give you a little bit of problem because unfortunately that is an odd harmonic, third harmonic. I'm going to let drop. And a quarter wave stub does not work on odd harmonics. They get treated the same. Works great on evens, not so good on odds. So between 40 and 15, there's a little problem there. But between, like, say, 40 and 20, they work beautifully. And if you do the business with the 2 quarter wave stubs, with the quarter wave line between the T's, they claim that you can even get up to as much as 50 dB attenuation. So that it's real simple to build. The one thing you're not going to get, though, is 2 people in the same band next to each other. Without, I guess we'll take the Faraday cage as the kindest way of doing it. A0GQ back to net.
All right, sounds good there, A0GQ, Tom, for the follow-up on that as well. Yeah, I need to dig in a little bit more about some of the technical specifications of what we ran there. I know KZRE Alex and N0XRX were trying to set up some filtering within the within Mark's comm vehicle. He was able to run a multitude of bands there. I'm just trying to find a photo here, but yeah, I know that we were stepping over each other potentially at some points. And getting some interference between us. So yeah, this would be really good to look into for field day, and or if you have a contesting station or multiple stations set up, or have a need for multiple operations or whatnot. Yeah, bandpass filters, notch filters, quarter wavelength antenna filtering. Yeah, plenty of cool stuff here. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. We had one more check-in here online, KF0FSY. Thanks for checking in, Dan. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I have a couple things I can pass, and we'll bring things back here. Last week, and we've been trying to play this game, What's That Sound? I'll eventually run out of things, but for now, I'll play again the sound that we played last week. I will reveal it over the air this time what it is, but I will play it once more, and if you want to make a guess of it, let me know. So yeah, give me a second, I'll drop and play that once more here for you. This is K1DBC Net Control. This was spoiled on the YouTube last time, but don't let that be an issue. So yeah, here we go. K1DBC. I'll pass this audio.
W0TX.
I will play that once more. This is a fairly popular mode that a lot of people use. I'll play it once more. If you think you know what it is, just let us know either via the chat or over the air. All right, we had a guess in here of PSK31. It is not PSK31. Does anyone else? Again, there's no prizes or anything, but if anybody else wants to take a guess at it, any last chance here, go ahead.
NRE, I'm going to guess it's RTTY.
Another good guess there, NRE. Net is not RTTY. That was FT8, a fairly popular digital mode. Frankie Taylor design, 8 FSK modulation, and it's an extremely weak signal, digital narrow bandwidth QSO only communication protocol used by amateur radio operators. So you've probably used FT8. That is what it sounds like. So if you ever turn the volume up when you're transmitting and receiving on those bands, that is what you would hear. All right, with that, though, I will play one more sound this evening. I won't reveal what it is. I'll have to give thanks to A0GQ for last week being able to get it, but retracting it, so that's not a problem at all, though. So I will play one more sound here this evening. Again, it is going to be something we've spoken about. It's a protocol that amateur radios have access to, amateur radio operators. So I will drop here for a moment and play that one. Feel free to guess in the chat if you want or over the air, but I won't make any comments, and I'll just leave it until next week. So let me drop, and I'll be right back. Yeah, it was just on the website here. Jay, sorry. All right, once more, this is K1DBC. I'll go ahead and play once more what that sound was. Feel free to have a guess if you'd like, but we'll be revealing next week and letting you know. I'll drop once more and play that sound once more.
Slow scan.
Good guess. I will let you know. I guess having you guess right now is a little funny, but yeah, feel free to put any comments, questions. I know I've been lacking on the on our groups.io page, but I'll be updating all of those tonight. So feel free to either comment on there or on the YouTube channel, and we'll see what we can start to hand out. I'll start to see if I can get some gift cards to HRO and get those handed out. So yeah, this was What's That Sound? This week it was another mode amateur radio operators have access to, and we've spoken about in the past. So with that, though, I will we can go on to the next things here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. We have another 15 minutes or so. If anybody has any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far, please call now.
Net question from KF0 FBI.
Yeah, KF0 FPI. Evans, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm such a newbie with this. I've had a passion for it since high school, and I just got a FT991 Alpha, and a couple weeks ago a TM 281 Kenwood, and I was wondering if there's any salty hams in my neighborhood around Wadsworth and Florida that might help me with the acronyms and etiquette.
All right, great question there, FPI Evans. Yeah, welcome into the hobby, welcome into the fold. Yeah, a lot of us have a lot of different passions for this hobby, and yeah, it's really nice to be able to get into. But yeah, as you're kind of saying, the manual says kind of one thing, and then when you look at the radio, it's a lot of different other things, and some of the transactions that you'll have over the air. Yeah, it's a little odd at first. So yeah, anyone else on the net here? Again, as mentioned, he has a FT991 Alpha from Yaesu, as well as a TM281 from Kenwood. These look like fairly standard dual band or so transceivers, HF 6 meter, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, things like that. So does anybody in the Lakewood area potentially have any availability to help out Evans at some point? This is K1DBC. Go ahead. All right, no problem. Yeah, Evans, I'll throw it out via email as well and see if we can get some help. There may not be everyone listening on the air that might be able to help this evening. So yeah, there's plenty of people in this club willing to help. Some of retired age, so you know you should be able to find some fairly good availability. And yeah, that's a fairly central location. I know there's a lot of members in this Lakewood, Denver area. So once more, anyone have any availability potentially help out somebody in the Lakewood area with a Yaesu and a Kenwood? Go ahead.
S.t.e.m, exactly what was he looking to find help with? I didn't understand his question.
KF0 FBI. I'm looking, I feel like I'm walking on glass with the acronyms and, how I'm going to say, ham radio etiquette. I figured out I can program my memory channels and all my radios, and I'm talking to you right now on a mobile set in my gutter, and I just wanted some advice, maybe picking an antenna and some salty advice on etiquette.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, sounds good there, Evans. Yeah, this is all pretty interesting information to try to go over. Yeah, I'm sure there's more than people more than willing to help. You kind of got to just listen into the conversations over the nets. I mean, everyone here is incredibly respectful, and there's very few troublemakers. You kind of just, push to talk and have a conversation. There's a lot of rag chewing on some of the repeaters. Yeah, kind of you just kind of have to get into a little bit. But yeah, as you mentioned, there's a lot of technicalities with some of the radios and how to set them up. So we'll see what we can find for you on that, though. It sounds funny to do, but you can nowadays Google just what you mentioned, ham radio etiquette, and there's plenty of kind of results from either AWRL or different blogs about just operating procedures and how to make your first contact and just friendliness, things like that. So yeah, as long as you're throwing out your call sign there once in a while and we know who you are and you're not making any rude comments, you're not going to be stepping on anybody's toes. So definitely don't hesitate. This is a hobby of engineering. So we're all in our own different stages of that. I certainly do not have a degree in engineering, electrical engineering, RF engineering, or anything. So we're all learning. So yeah, don't ever hesitate because plenty of people in your same shoes there.
AA0JK?
Yeah, AA0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, the AWRL's operating manual might be of benefit, definitely benefit, if you would grab a copy of that. Probably HRO will probably have some in there, have a copy of that on their book rack. But it's the AWRL operating manual, and AWRL item number 1205. If you look up the AWRL's store website and take a look through their books, but they've got quite a few publications here for helping you out in that regard, and this gets you down to the basics. And like you say, the etiquette and all the little buzzwords and everything that we use. But I would highly recommend that you pick up a copy of that and have a look through it. AA0JK.
All right, thanks there, Fred, AA0JK. Yeah, AWRL always has some pretty good publications to try to just kind of clearly explain some of the different aspects of this hobby and basics of operating and antennas and different operating procedures, things like that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of formality to this hobby, but there's a lot of just general fellowship. So yeah, don't ever hesitate to just get on the air, and if you can make the repeater, have a conversation. Yeah, with that, though, I'll throw it back out to the net. Anybody have any other comments, questions in regards to anything we've spoken about so far, or anything else you'd like to bring up? Please call now. As K1DBC Net Control, I heard somebody trying to get in there. If anybody was trying to call in just now, I didn't get your name or call sign or anything. Try once more, please, when you can.
Delta Oscar Kilo.
Yeah, Rich, WD6DOK, go ahead.
Yeah, did Orland check in tonight?
I did not hear Orland WW0LF, but sometimes he might be listening. If you have a question, we can try to see if he's out there.
Oh, I just wanted to give him a landline if he was available.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, not hearing anything so far. So yeah, I'm not sure if he's listening this evening.
Okay. Thank you very much. Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo. Back to net.
All right. This is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We don't have a hard stop, but we usually end in about a few minutes here. But I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield, checking in.
All right, we had KZRE. Ken, thanks for checking in. Yeah, at the moment, if you'd like to check in as well, feel free to do so with your call sign name and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
Delta Oscar Kilo with another question.
Yeah, DOK. Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, who was the gentleman that was doing the, he had a spectrum analyzer and he was checking the stubs. What was his call sign?
All right, yeah, no problem. That's Tom, Alpha Echo 0, Golf, Quebec, AE0GQ.
Okay, by any chance is he on frequency right now?
A0GQ to Net Control, I am.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom, A0GQ. Or sorry, I guess it would be DOK, Rich, with your question. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, for Tom, I was just wondering what spectrum analyzer he was using to do all these tests, and would he recommend that or something else?
I am cheap, but not incredibly cheap. You can get a spectrum analyzer that's based somewhat loosely on the Nano VNA for about $100 thereabouts, and it will do a lot of good things. In fact, the Nano VNA can do quite a bit. The biggest problem is it doesn't have a very high or a very low noise floor, so you can't use it to tune a cavity. I'm sorry, it ain't going to do it. However, I am not going to go out and buy a Keysight or a Tektronix or Roden Schwartz because I don't have that kind of income. So what I have is a Siglent, which is a Chinese one, and I'm looking at the thing. It's an SSA 2021X, so it goes up to 2.1 gigahertz. And I did go ahead and spring for a couple of the software keys so I could use it. Has one heck of a fancy antenna analyzer, but that one works out quite well if you want a good working antenna analyzer that's not going to kill you. I will warn you, it's about $1,300 or $1,400 without the software keys for the measurement or occupied bandwidth. A0GQ back to net.
W0TX repeater.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. I think maybe I might have doubled with you a bit there, but do you have any comment on older Tektronix or HP or something of that nature?
Jerome, if I may respond, I'll tell you what, if you can find a good Tektronix or a good HP, go out and buy it. Yeah, it may not do everything, but to be honest with you, some of the older HP and Tektronix stuff will go to a higher frequency range than what I have, and they do beautiful work. They were well made, and they last forever with some reasonable care, and people don't tend to treat their spectrum analyzers rough, so the chances are you're going to have some good ones.
You got a model number by any chance?
No, sir, they're just 1.5 million models out there, I'm afraid. So it's going to be a matter of trying to find one on the used market. I would check, to be honest with you, once we start getting Hamfests again, I would look there, although I wouldn't walk out the door without plugging it in and making sure that it works. Not that that would ever happen, but I would look there and then do some quick research online for the models, because they made 1 million models that went over a lot of years, and so you're going to find a lot of prices. As you can see, well, no, you probably can't because Jerome's doing it on his YouTube channel. Used ones on eBay are going from anywhere from like $550 up to $2,000 or $3,000.
Okay, yeah, I can see what Daron's putting up. So, are you just on eBay, Daron, or where are you at right now?
Yep, just eBay.
Okay, thank you. I just thought maybe there might be a specific model number that you might really like, but that's okay. All right, thank you very much for the information. Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo, back to net.
I was happy to help, even though it wasn't much help. To be honest with you, I've never bothered when I was in the lab looking at model numbers on them at work, and I can't get in the office anymore because it's locked down, and they won't let us in until September at the earliest. So I can't tell you. I just had them, and it frankly wasn't part of my primary job anyhow. So sorry about that. Wish I could give you better information.
No, you're a big help. Thank you very much.
All right.
GQ back to net. And Jerome, you know, you could play that one more time.
Talk about the sound. You want to play it once more? All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, great conversation here. Used equipment. Yeah, this is definitely. I was just reading an article on hackaday.com about somebody buying used oscilloscope. I mean, it's definitely you'll have to pay for the price for it. But if you are handy with repair, there might be an option for you to buy different multimeters or different equipment out there. Used, and if you're handy, you could fix them. But yeah, otherwise, a little bit of money might be able to get you something. But these originally ran for $5,000-$10,000, something like that. So yeah, really great equipment to have if you can in your lab.
Hey, Daron.
Yeah, DOK, go ahead.
Yeah, is there anybody that's a member of the Mars group that's on frequency right now? Guess not.
JK.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but AA0JK. Fred, go ahead.
AA0JK. I haven't heard much activity here. Well, Navy Mars shut down, and I think the Army Mars, and possibly the Air Force Mars, are currently the only areas there that one might look into. And I am licensed for Navy Mars, but ever since they shut down, I haven't been active. So you might look for Army Mars activity in the area, and also ask around to see if there's anybody out at Buckley still active and using that facility there. AA0JK.
Okay, thank you, Fred. The reason I was asking is I was a member of Army Mars years ago, right when I got back from Vietnam. And there for a number of years I was a member. And they at one time used to hand out, test equipment and so forth. It was obviously the used stuff that, but it was a good deal. And I was wondering if they still did it, if you were a member of the Mars group. But I guess that's pretty much kind of died since cell phones and satellite phones and all that good stuff came into play. DOK.
Yeah, I talked to one individual who was Army Mars during a swap fest, and he invited me to join him in the Army Mars group. But I declined. I said, I'm not Army, I'm Navy. And I guess I should have looked a little bit further and talked to him a little bit further there to see what kind of activities they were still participating in. So I guess the only place that I would be looking for information there would be the internet, Army Mars, and see if you can find something here along the Front Range that's still active. AA0JK.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was Air Force, and I don't know why, I don't remember now, it's been years, but why I ended up in the Army Mars group, but ran foam patches and stuff like that at that time. But that was years ago. You can find a phone patch on eBay for $10 now or something, if you really, I don't know what you'd do with it, but anyway. All right, thanks, Fred. Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo.
GQ.
All right, sounds good there for the follow-up. Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
I see nothing wrong with buying a used spectrum analyzer, certainly a used VNA from somebody that's a good source, possibly a used arbitrary frequency generator, even a used lab multimeter, although anymore you can get enough accuracy out of a $30 one that it's scary. However, I would not suggest you buy a used oscilloscope. Right now you can buy a brand new 200 megahertz 2-channel digital oscilloscope for $360. Admittedly it is a Chinese, but it works extremely well. They're even calibrated, and by the time you get a scope to the Tektronix or at an HP Agilent Keysight, whatever version they happen to be at that particular moment, you're not going to save enough money. I think you'd be a lot better off buying a new one, because the digital scope gives you so much more than an analog. A0GQ, back to net.
W0TX repeater.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I was just kind of curious to see, if anybody was interested or still had the Tektronix or HP, something of that nature. I know you can get the others online for a very reasonable amount of money, and but anyway, that's all. I was just interested in see if anybody was, if you were even considering, pardon me, my goodness, a Tektronix or an HP or something of that nature. I mean, I had a Tektronix years ago that I did receive from Army Mars, and I had it out in my shack out in the garage, and my goodness, in the wintertime it was great. That thing would heat up the whole room. It had more tubes than you shake a stick at in it. All right, Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo.
All right, sounds good there. DOK, this is K1DBC. Thanks there, Tav, as well, A0GQ for the follow-up as well. Yeah, very similar to, I think, probably some of the old, I forget the the terminology we use for those old, just the old boat anchor radios. That's what it is. You know, I think sometimes there's a lot of romance with that, and so, yeah, you're more than welcome to purchase some older equipment, but, yeah, potentially so. There's newer and better equipment out there, but yeah, you'll probably be able to find some older things. One of the websites I had up here was gsaauctions.gov. They auction off some of the governmental equipment, so sometimes there'll be some electronics equipment on there, signaling, RF, things like that. Yeah, Hamfests. Yeah, you'll probably see that. Yeah, I didn't realize that Mars would be able to loan out equipment or things like that in the past. But yeah, really, really cool information here. With that, I'll throw it back out to the net. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else in regards to what we've spoken about so far, or anything else? Go ahead.
AA0JK.
Yeah, A0JK. Fred, go ahead.
I take it you haven't read the latest newsletter from DRC?
I think I may have, and I think I saw a mention in there about me and about the game that we're playing here, but if there's something else, go ahead.
Yeah, in that photograph, that teletype station was given to me by Navy Mars.
Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, we're looking at the round table from July here. A photograph that Fred shared here of a teletype. We kind of spoke about some of the sounds that it makes. And yeah, really cool seeing A0JK radio station there. And yeah, I think you had mentioned in the past we've spoken about the teletype that was handed down to you. So this is a really, really amazing equipment and really cool write-up here in our most recent newsletter, A0JK. Very, very cool. Yeah, real briefly, there was a small desk with a Model 28 ASR. That would be his operating position for following months as tour of duty unfolded. Hooked up his transceiver to the TH6 DX beam, powered up, and he was on the air. CQ calling there. So rear DX station, a lot of operations, and left over by Mars. So really, really neat how much integration we can have, and how cool that it can be to be able to take home equipment like that. So really, really cool.
It pays to be a ham radio operator. Ah, yes, that ham radio license opened many a door for me, and let me tell you, it was great having that ticket in my wallet, especially going in the military from one duty station to another. AA0JK.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Mine got me the door in when I was in Vietnam. I knew the guys at the radio station, and ended up a couple of them were from my local neighborhood. Anyway, I had no problems calling the wife after that.
Very, very cool. Yep, as we've spoken about, this hobby is not just a simple hobby. It has a lot of tendrils. It's about engineering, about public service, about lots of things. Getting on the air and speaking over the telephone is something a rare occurrence nowadays, but this is what we do quite often. So, very, very cool. Again, Roundtable. If you go to the W0TX.org website, there's a drop-down menu at the top. And there's a Roundtable link in here. I can never seem to find what I want in this thing for it somewhere. It's bottom left, and you can go to the 2021 Roundtables in July, and it page 6 here, article entitled "What's That Sound?" By Fred Hart, AA0JK. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I don't have much more for the net, really, this evening. I'll throw it out to the net, though. Does anybody have any other further comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, I haven't been updating the groups.io page recently in the last couple of weeks here, but feel free to check us out on groups.io/g/ham learning net. I'll get that updated this evening with videos from our past nets, as well as a link to our Google Drive, which has some photos from our field day. So if you want to check that out, I'll also be compiling these. If you have any other photos you want to add on to here, feel free to do so. But otherwise, I'll be putting together a video and putting it up on YouTube from our events a couple of weekends ago. More info on our club, W0TX.org from the Denver Radio Club. We have a monthly meeting coming up here. July 21st, 7 p.m. Presentation is Kit Building Techniques for Success, presented by Joe, K0NEB. So if you have any interest in building electronics kits, beginner to expert, there's plenty of information here. He will go over how to handle and sort parts, proper solder and soldering tools, and take a look at some kits that are appropriate for beginners, intermediate, and experienced builders. He's a current kit building editor for CQ Magazine and has produced the column for 12 years. He's also the current author of the Construction Techniques chapter in the AWRL Handbook since 2014. He's been licensed since 1969 as a life member of AWRL.
W0TX Repeater.
This, at the moment, takes place online. More info, again, on our website, W0TX.org. There's a meet.google link. Just click on that, and you can join up. You don't need to be a ham radio operator. We have, so the meeting does take place at 7 p.m. 1 hour previous to that, at 6 p.m., we have an Elmers session, which is very similar to this, just a general Q&A, show and tell. If you have any things you want to pass, feel free to hang out there as well. So again, that is going to be July 21st. I will play What's That Sound once more, if you're still listening. This was a sound that we played earlier on the net. I'll play it once more. If you have want to take a whack at it, put any comments and questions into the YouTube or onto the groups.io. So I'll play that once more, and we'll wrap things up. All right, so we'll leave that in your brains for this evening. It is a mode that ham radios have used and we've spoken about in the past. So we'll throw that out for next week. Try to bring your best guesses next week, and we'll see what we can try to do to get some HRO gift cards going here. So with that, though, I'll throw it out to the net. Any last final comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. Well, I can't say either way, Tom. How can I? We'll see. Next week. We'll see here. All right. This is K1DBC Net Control. This will be the final call. Any last-minute check-ins for the net? Please call now. All right. This is K1DBC. We're fairly informal. You're more than welcome to hang out here and do as much or as little as you like. If you want to be a guest Elmer or operator, don't hesitate to ever check in as an Elmer. If you ever want to operate the net, don't ever hesitate to let me know. I'm more than happy to help you take check-ins or however much or little you want. I'd love to see more people operating net control. Again, we are on youtube.com /WERE GR8, or if you search for my call sign K1DBC or our club's call sign W0TX, you should be able to find it that way. I originally started doing this just to show people just my side of the operating as net control. So if you ever want to see what goes into that, it's not too much, really. You kind of just keep the conversation going and fake it till you make it. So don't ever hesitate to let us know. Again, you can email us if you want, drclearningnet@gmail.com. And again, groups.io /G/ham learning net. This evening we had a total of 22 check-ins over the air and online. Appreciate all the activity online, all the chatter. That's awesome to see. We especially appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. Again, we invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7. This takes place online. Everyone is welcome to that. With that, though, please join us next week, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, for the next Learning Net. I will drop for a moment. So again, everyone, thanks for checking in here wherever you're at in the world, and I hope things are doing well for you all. Keeping cool and staying safe. So with that, though, all stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening, taking your time to join us here on this meeting every Wednesday night. It's our pleasure to be here, and yeah, it's really nice to hear everyone. So with that, everyone take care. This is Daron, K1DBC. I'm 7-3 and clear. Everyone take care. All right, again, everyone, thanks for being here. We'll reveal next week what that sound was. Thanks everyone for chatting on here. Don't ever have to like or subscribe or anything like that. Subscribing does make it easier, though, if you ever want to find this channel again. I am putting together, again, the field day video that should be coming out here soon. I guess with that, if anybody has any other comments or questions on here, let me know, but I'll probably drop here in a minute. All right, everyone, take care. Good evening.